Before religion existed, fear already did. Fear came first. Long before temples, before scriptures, before prophets hallucinating eternity in deserts, before men in robes claiming to speak for the cosmos, there was only a terrified animal staring into the night sky, trying to understand why existence felt so cruel. Thunder sounded like anger, disease looked like punishment, death felt impossible. And maybe that is the real origin of God. Not revelation, not divine contact, psychological survival. Human beings did not create religion because they found answers. They created religion because they could not endure the questions. Why do we suffer? Why does everything decay? Why do we love people only to watch them disappear? Why does consciousness exist inside a universe that clearly does not care about consciousness? The human brain was never designed to stare into the abyss for too long. Eventually, it begins manufacturing meaning the same way starving people hallucinate food. And that is what gods may actually be. Hallucinations created by emotional starvation. Because when you study the history of religion carefully, a disturbing pattern appears. Gods always resemble the emotional needs of the civilizations that invented them. Violent societies created violent gods. Patriarchal societies created male gods. Empires created conquering gods. Cultures terrified of death invented eternal afterlives. Civilizations crushed by suffering created heavens. It is almost embarrassing how transparent the pattern becomes once you step back far enough. Maybe God was never discovered. Maybe he was projected onto the silence of the universe, like a face imagined in darkness. And humanity became so emotionally attached to the projection that it forgot it was staring at itself the entire time. Because humans have always done this. We anthropomorphize chaos. We turn randomness into intention. We transform ignorance into narrative because uncertainty suffocates the mind. A meaningless universe is psychologically unbearable for most people. So humanity populated the void with invisible fathers. And the terrifying part is this: it worked. Religion became the greatest psychological anesthesia ever created. An invisible architecture designed to protect fragile minds from existential collapse. And maybe that explains why people defend their gods with such emotional desperation. Because for many of them, God is not just a belief. God is the thin mental wall separating them from cosmic horror. Take that wall away, and suddenly existence becomes unbearably naked. No destiny, no cosmic justice, no final explanation, no eternal compensation, only time, only entropy, only death slowly approaching everything that ever mattered. And the universe remains silent through all of it. That silence is important, because humanity has spent thousands of years talking to the sky, and the sky has never answered once. Not once. Only humans answered for God. Always humans, priests, prophets, kings, mystics, schizophrenics, poets, desperate people, but never the universe itself. And still, billions continue believing. People often say, how can billions of people be wrong? Easily. Billions once believed the earth was the center of existence. Billions believed disease was caused by demons. Billions believed slavery was morally acceptable. Large groups do not produce truth. They produce consensus. And consensus is often just fear repeated collectively until it sounds sacred. Human history is almost entirely composed of emotionally convenient illusions. Religion may simply be the oldest one still surviving. This may be the most offensive truth in the entire conversation, and also one of the most accurate. Everyone already rejects almost every god humanity has ever invented. Christians dismiss Zeus as mythology. Muslims reject Shiva. Hindus reject Yahweh. Ancient Norse believers would have laughed at modern monotheism. Every religion believes every other religion is delusion. Every civilization thought it had received the final truth of the cosmos. The Greeks were certain. The Egyptians were certain. The Aztecs were certain. The Vikings were certain. Christians are certain. Muslims are certain. Everyone arrives carrying absolute certainty about invisible things they cannot prove. That alone should terrify intelligent people. Because certainty is one of the most dangerous drugs the human mind can consume. It numbs doubt, and doubt is painful. People do not fear hell nearly as much as they fear uncertainty. Uncertainty dismantles identity. It destabilizes reality. It forces humans to confront something horrifying. Maybe nobody actually knows what this place is. Maybe existence itself is fundamentally incomprehensible, and humans cannot psychologically tolerate that possibility for very long. So they cling to systems, to doctrines, to metaphysical stories inherited from frightened ancestors. Not necessarily because those stories are true, but because they reduce existential panic to manageable levels. Karl Marx understood this with brutal clarity when he described religion as the opium of the people. Most people misunderstand that sentence. He was not simply insulting religion. He was identifying its function. Religion sedates existential suffering. It transforms cosmic terror into emotional comfort. And humans consistently choose comforting illusions over destabilizing truths. Because reality is cold. Reality offers no guarantees. Reality kills children randomly. Reality buries good people beside monsters. Reality allows innocent minds to collapse into depression while psychopaths thrive. Reality does not distribute justice. Nature never signed a moral contract with humanity. The universe is not evil. That would at least imply intention. It is worse than evil. It is indifferent. And human beings struggle profoundly with indifference. Hatred is easier to process than meaninglessness. At least hatred acknowledges your existence. Indifference erases it, which may explain why humans invented cosmic observers. A God who watches, a God who judges, a God who cares. Because being seen feels psychologically safer than existing unnoticed inside infinite darkness. If human beings were immortal, religion might never have survived. Think about where faith becomes strongest. Hospitals, funerals, wars, terminal diagnoses, loneliness, grief. Moments when mortality stops being philosophical and becomes personal. When someone watches their mother lowered into the ground, the mind begins to fracture under the weight of finality. Because consciousness instinctively rejects non-existence. The brain cannot emotionally process annihilation, so it invents continuations, heaven, reincarnation, eternal souls, spiritual planes, reunions beyond death. Not necessarily because they are true, but because absolute endings feel psychologically intolerable. And honestly, it is difficult to blame humanity for this. Existence is unbearably tragic once illusion dissolves. Everything disappears. Everything. Your memories, your voice, your face, the people who love you, the cities humanity built, entire civilizations, even stars eventually collapse into darkness. The universe itself is slowly moving toward thermal silence, a cold expansion into lifeless stillness. And inside this temporary cosmic accident, human beings fall in love. They build families. They dream. They pray. They create art while death quietly approaches from every direction. There is something almost heartbreaking about human existence. Conscious creatures emotionally attached to permanence, trapped inside a universe built entirely from impermanence. Maybe religion was humanity's attempt to emotionally rebel against entropy, a refusal to accept disappearance, a metaphysical protest against death. And maybe that is why the idea of God persists, even when evidence does not. Because God answers an emotional need deeper than logic. Humans do not merely want explanations, they want rescue. They want cosmic reassurance. They want existence to mean something. They want suffering to matter. They want someone, somewhere, to promise this nightmare has purpose. But reality never makes that promise. Only religions do. And maybe that is why they survive. Not because they are demonstrably true, but because they are emotionally necessary. Maybe the universe was never designed with humanity in mind. Maybe consciousness is not sacred. Maybe meaning is not discovered, but invented. Maybe morality is a human construction built by fragile primates trying to survive together inside chaos. Maybe there is no divine script, no hidden plan, no cosmic redemption arc waiting at the end of history. Maybe existence simply happened, blindly, accidentally, without intention. And if that is true, then humanity has been speaking to itself through the mask of God for thousands of years, praying into silence, begging meaning from an indifferent cosmos, trying to negotiate emotionally with extinction. Because deep down, perhaps religion was never really about God. Perhaps it was always about loneliness, the unbearable loneliness of being conscious, the unbearable horror of realizing you will die, the unbearable weight of loving temporary things. Humans are strange creatures. We know everything ends, yet we continue becoming emotionally attached anyway. We love people we cannot keep. We build things time will erase. We create memories already doomed to disappear. And maybe that is the true tragedy of consciousness. Not suffering, awareness, the ability to understand loss before loss arrives. Animals die. Humans anticipate death. That anticipation changes everything. It creates anxiety, existential dread, metaphysical terror. And perhaps God emerged precisely at the point where the human nervous system became intelligent enough to fear itself. Maybe God is what consciousness invented to survive consciousness. There was a time when God explained everything. Lightning was God. Plague was God. Madness was God. Infertility was God. The stars were God. Then science arrived. And slowly, mercilessly, God began losing territory. Bacteria replaced demons. Evolution replaced creation myths. Astronomy destroyed humanity's cosmic centrality. Neuroscience began dissecting the soul itself. And with every discovery, humanity became smaller, more ordinary, less divine. The human species stopped looking like the center of creation and started looking like what it probably is: a temporary biological accident occurring on a wet rock orbiting an average star inside one galaxy among billions. That realization humiliated humanity. Maybe that is why so many people unconsciously resent science. Because science does not comfort. Science removes illusions. Religion tells humans they are chosen. Science tells humans they are temporary. Religion says existence was designed for you. Science says the universe existed billions of years before your species appeared and will continue long after it disappears. One worldview feeds emotional importance. The other dismantles it. And people rarely forgive those who destroy their comforting illusions. I felt God. I heard a voice. I saw signs. Maybe they are sincere. That does not make them correct. The human mind is catastrophically unreliable. It hallucinates patterns, creates false memories, distorts reality through trauma, fear, desire, loneliness, sleep deprivation, psychedelics, grief, social conditioning. Every religion produces spiritual experiences confirming itself. Christians see Jesus. Hindus encounter Krishna. Muslims feel Allah. Shamans speak to spirits. Mystics enter transcendental states. Schizophrenics hear entities too. The mind is fully capable of manufacturing experiences that feel more real than reality itself. Conviction is not evidence. Emotion is not proof. And fear certainly is not truth. A terrified human being will believe almost anything if the alternative is staring directly into the abyss. That may be the deepest psychological engine behind religion. Not wisdom, not revelation, terror. At the bottom of everything, perhaps humanity never searched for God. Perhaps humanity searched for relief. Relief from mortality. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from isolation. Relief from the horrifying realization that existence may have no ultimate explanation. And maybe that is why silence feels so unbearable. Because if the universe truly does not care, then humanity is completely alone. No cosmic parent, no metaphysical protection, no hidden justice waiting beyond death. Only conscious creatures trying to comfort each other briefly before disappearing forever. And maybe that is why humans invented eternity. Because temporary love feels emotionally insufficient. Because the heart rebels against endings. Because consciousness desperately wants permanence inside a universe built entirely from collapse. But the universe keeps erasing everything anyway. Religions, empires, languages, names, bodies, memories, civilizations, entire species. Everything disappears eventually. Even the stars burn out. And perhaps one day, the last human mind will vanish from existence forever. No witnesses left, no prayers left, no gods left, only silence. The same silence that was already waiting before humanity arrived. After everything we talked about in this video, about fear, meaning, death, God, loneliness, and the unbearable silence of the universe, maybe one thing becomes painfully clear. Most people spend their entire lives running away from difficult thoughts. They distract themselves. They numb themselves. They bury existential terror under routines, entertainment, noise. But you stayed, you listened, and that already means something. Channels like this survive because there are still people willing to confront uncomfortable ideas instead of hiding from them. People willing to think deeper, feel deeper, question deeper. So if these videos resonate with you, if they make you feel less alone inside all this chaos, consider becoming a member of the channel. There are already more than 100 exclusive videos for members. Deeper reflections, darker themes, more philosophical content that YouTube's algorithm usually buries. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can also use the Super Thanks feature below this video. Not because you owe anything, and not because this channel needs saving, but because meaningful content only continues to exist when the people who value it decide to keep it alive. Still, honestly, just watching the videos, subscribing, liking, and sharing them already helps more than most people realize. In a world drowning in shallow distraction, your attention is already a form of support. And maybe that's one of the few real things we still have left.